Longshore workers in New Westminster, British Columbia, were assigned to a variety of docks, operated by different companies. One of the most prominent of these businesses was Pacific Coast Terminals, which could be found in the location of what is currently the New Westminster Quay community. Pacific Coast Terminals, or PCT as it was called, handled general cargo such as food and lumber, loading from rail to ship and vice versa, and later expanding to other cargoes. The business also expanded to Port Moody in 1960, where it continues to operate today. Reclaiming the New Westminster Waterfront interviewed many former PCT employees with vivid memories of what used to be the busiest place of work on the waterfront.
Well, I remember the old man telling me that as long as you're in school, you don't have to work. And I guess I was about 17, I think. And I got kicked out of school. So I went down to PCT Cold Storage for a job. And I'm working there, and every time I looked out the window and I see the longshoremen working at PCT off the top, looking down on them, they're making, I think it was $2.50 or $2.78 an hour. And I'm making 55 cents an hour. So I quit the job, went back home, and I told the old man I got canned. And he said, all right, let's go to work, I'll take you down the hall. Took me down the hall. My grandfather, uncles, and cousins were all down there, so I started that way.
So I got to be 16, and my father was very pragmatic. His feeling was, I fended for myself when I was 13. You're 16, I've given you a 3-year advantage. Feel free now to take care of your medical, your dental, and whatever else you need, because you're a man. And so I didn't know enough about anything, and I had heard that there was lots of good jobs at the cold storage, which was the old PCT cold storage where the houses are now. So I, not knowing where to start and not asking enough questions, I boldly walked down to the terminal, walked in and saw the cold storage there, and said, oh, I'd like to get a job. And they said, oh, good, we're just freezing strawberries. And I oh, okay. And so I immediately signed up, went home, got some work clothes, and started to work for Cascade Foods, which had sublet a piece of the cold storage. So while everybody was suggesting I go look at longshoring, I ended up doing food processing in a cold storage at $1.35 an hour.
Oh, your family was saying go
down to the docks and get a job. Yeah.
And you ended up in the cold storage.
Yes, because I didn't know enough to ask about how do you do that, and didn't go to the longshore office on 10th Street. I went right to the terminal. So the only good part of all of that was almost all the girls that I had gone to school with worked on the line, picking out the husks and running the stuff through.
I sat in the hall for 3 weeks before I got an opportunity to get a job. My first job, I wish I could remember the name of the ship. It was loading scrap locomotives cut up off the PCT dock.
Where was the dispatch, so people get an idea?
10th Street in Westminster.
And from the hall to where you...
To work?
Yeah.
We walked.
Yeah.
Up Columbia Street.
So all the work was...
From PCT up to the Total Bridge. Overseas transport, berth 7 to berth 4, or berths at PCT.
Do you remember what kind of money you made in those days?
I think it was $1.76 an hour. I think it was when we first started. We got the job, which we were quite happy to have a job. You go there. Most of the time it was sacks,
right?
Fertilizer, flour. The good jobs back then were hand-stove plywood,
which wasn't easy.
Yeah, but it was the cleanest job, or lumber.